like to welcome everybody out to our commission meeting on this 17th day of April. It's a beautiful spring day. Hope everybody that has kids is having a good spring break. And if you'll please stand and repeat the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll jump right into the agenda. Item number 1 on the agenda is presentation of Carbon County Employee of the Month, Rose Barnes. However, we are going to, if that's okay with you, commissioners, there was an incident that the Employee of the Month is handling at the moment. So if we can push that back for just a little bit until everybody shows up.
Yes, that'd be. Yep.
Okay, we'll jump into item number 2, presentation of Trust Accountability Program, or the TAP program as it's called, award from the Utah Local Governments Trust. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Doug Folsom. I'm the Loss Prevention Manager for the Utah Local Governments Trust, and I've been working with Carbon County for quite a few years on risk management and safety programs, and the Trust Accountability Program Award is one that we give to trust members who implement best practices for their safety and risk management programs. This is the 4th consecutive year that Carbon County has received the TAP award. And that award comes with some benefits that are progressive, that are better, every year. And at this point, having received the award 4 consecutive years, those benefits have gotten fairly significant. The county has received a check as part of the award for about $4,000 in addition to extra discounting off your workers' compensation program that's worth another $9,000 or so. And so there's been some good benefits there. The best practices that have been employed revolve around the use of the safety committee, safety programs, safety training programs, getting return to work programs, getting employees back to work, when they've been injured on a work comp injury. And we really appreciate Carbon County for all their efforts. Don Johnston, of course, has been key in this, as has Rose Barnes as well. But I also want to make sure to thank you, the commissioners, because without your support of the safety programs, the employees really can't have the effective programs that they need. So I want you to know that we really appreciate and recognize your efforts, participation, and support. So I brought with me tonight the award itself that we'll present for the county, and we'll leave that with you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I think it's been a great program. I want to say thanks to Dawn and Rose for really pushing this. The employees are really buying in and doing well. If it wasn't for those pesky deer on the road, we would be even better this year. We just have a couple incidences where people that are traveling the roads a lot. And the deer.
We're gonna take some pictures. Maybe Dawn or Rose, you want to join in too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
And thanks, Don. Good job.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Item number 3, presentation of Tourism Customer Service Award. Tina Henry.
Hello, commissioners. I'm really excited. I always get excited to do these awards, but this one, for some reason, especially is close to my heart. So a lot of you might not know, but I grew up in East Carbon when I was a young kid, and so the person receiving this award, I grew up with their family. I know a lot of the people there, and so when we had our hospitality committee meeting, he had actually been nominated by 2 people from his community. We had 7 nominations this month, And this guy's been around a long time. For those of you who have had the opportunity to visit Miners Trading Post in East Carbon and now the new Juicers Burger Bar, they've seen a need for their locals and their visitors to have a place to go and a place to eat. And so Jim Leonard and his family have been pivotal in making that happen. So I'm happy to award this to Jim Leonard for Miners Trading and Juicers Burger Bar for providing outstanding customer service and a super service experience, and to let him and his family know that they're a very valuable part of our community. I'm gonna get a $50 visa too. Yeah, spend it on yourself.
You guys want to say?
Did you want to say anything?
Oh, I'm not that old, by the way.
Congratulations and thanks for everything you do for the area and the community. You run a great facility up there.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Item number 4 on the agenda is approval of minutes. Commissioners, we have one set of minutes from the April 3rd meeting.
I have a couple of corrections.
Okay.
Third page, down close to the bottom, the second to the last sentence, that needs to be 1.5% monthly.
So that's page 4.
Is it page 4? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on
Skipped one. Oh, page 5 of,
Page
page
five.
5, I'm sorry. Page 5. It has 1.5% per annum, and that needs to be monthly, or 18% annually. And one more on page 6, on item 11, the second line, it has Jared Anderson. That's actually, his name is Jared Hanson. I think that. And that was all I had.
Do you have any corrections as well?
I don't have any corrections. I know that whole paragraph, or number 7 item, number 8 item was confusion and a bunch of different numbers thrown out, so I appreciate Lori trying to keep that straight, but no, I have no corrections.
Okay.
I'll make the motion, we accept the minutes as changed.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Are we ready for Employee of the Month? All right, we'll, if we're to that point, we'll go back to Employee of the Month.
Commissioners, our Employee of the Month is Andy, better known as Sawyer Leonard. He's been with the county for 10 years. He does a great job for us over at the SO, and I'm going to let his sergeant talk a little bit about why he was nominated.
So there's not just one specific thing on why Deputy Leonard was nominated. I can't speak highly enough about Deputy Leonard. Everything he does is 100%. He's there for the community always. Doesn't matter what I ask him to do, he's always done it. But the reason why he was nominated is back in December. Every morning, anybody that goes to Castle Heights knows that Deputy Leonard is there. He's always making sure to watch the crosswalks, make sure the kids make it to school safe. Just before Christmas break, a little boy, we still don't know who it was, but went up to Deputy Leonard, gave him a Christmas card, said, "Thanks for all you do, thanks for keeping us safe," and inside that card was a gift card. Sorry, I'm out of breath, we just come from a call. But the little boy said, "Thanks for keeping us safe." Inside that card had a thank you note and a gift card to Walmart. And Deputy Leonard didn't spend that gift card on himself. He actually went and bought a meat tray for everybody, some cheese and meat tray for everybody at the sheriff's office. So that's just the type of employee that Deputy Leonard is. So like I said, there's just not one specific thing that he does. It's everything that he does. So I'd like to thank Andy. Thanks for everything you do, and I appreciate it. So.
Thank you. Not really. I'm not much of a talker, but thank you, and I appreciate it.
Well, I would like to say that I do appreciate your conduct, your attitude, making sure that people are safe, but all of the sheriff's department. You guys are top-notch, professional. I really appreciate the things that you guys see, and only you guys know what you deal with on a daily basis. Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Ditto for me.
Thank you.
Top
Yes.
notch, thanks.
Thank you.
Me too, thank you.
Thank you.
All the exciting stuff is finishing up and everybody's leaving. Item number 5, consideration of possible approval of ordinance number 516, amending the county procurement policy pertaining to sale of real property. Christian?
Commissioners, I'm looking at amending this, and unfortunately, I don't think I have all my changes ready. Well, I've made my changes. I've given them to you. I need to check the legality of a couple of things. As you know, I'm looking at this to see if there are some things we need to look at with respect to the manner in which we sell real property, and make sure we have all options available to us when we decide to sell any piece of property, and make sure we can manage that sale of property in the manner that's most beneficial to the county and that's the easiest for us to handle. So I'm looking at revising that portion of the procurement code to make sure we're doing that in conjunction with law. I gave you my changes, but as I said, I'd like a little more time, if you don't mind, to look at those and make sure everything is in compliance with the law. I apologize I didn't get that review done for you prior to today, but if you don't mind, I'd request that you table that till next meeting so that I can make sure I'm presenting you with changes that I'm certain are going to work for us and won't present us any additional problems.
I think that's prudent and wise to do. I think with some of the activity and interest in this area, we better make sure that we've got that ironed out. So I would make a motion that we table this.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 6, request to postpone tax sale of property owned by Bowie Refined Coal LLC from 2018 tax sale until, or actually that should say the 2019 tax sale. 2019 tax sale until 2020. Parcel number 1B-0293-0003 and 1B-0293-0002. Commissioners, we've had some lengthy discussions on this piece of property, and just for the information of the public, this piece of property was used to process coal. If we were to put it out for a tax sale, there's some questions on, because it was used as for mining or processing coal, it falls under Dogham's regulation, so that clouds the property just a little bit. So this will allow us some time to have the property cleaned up before it's sold, and or if somebody's interested in the property, allows them to go reach out to Bowie Refined Coal and possibly work out a deal and put their own bond in place before the property is sold. Do you have any questions? Commissioners, Christian, do you want to add anything to that?
No, Commissioners, I think it's a wise idea. In other words, if the property were to be listed for sale and then sold at the tax sale, but there were no buyers, it would then be stricken to the county. And the county would have the underlying responsibility to clean up the coal tailings on that property. Now, it is our understanding there's a reclamation bond in place, but nevertheless, we would still have liability on paper and possibly continuing liability for future things. So I do think it's wise to let Doggham go in, reclaim the property, clean up the property, and then if Bowie Coal doesn't come and redeem it by paying the taxes, why, If it is stricken to the county then has a parcel of property that it can sell. And in the meantime, it doesn't prevent any company that's interested from reaching out to Dogum and Bowie and making an agreement to assume that bond and clean up the property and still purchase the property and redeem the taxes and redeem it from tax sale in the meantime. So I think it's a wise move to go ahead and postpone it from tax sale for this year.
I'll make the motion that we postpone until 2020 the sale of those 2 parcels of property.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 7, consideration and possible approval of BLM contract for noxious weed control. Chris, do you want to cover that, or what are the changes to the contract, if any?
Yeah, this is a contract that we have every year with the BLM. I don't think there was any changes made in the contract from previous years other than the dollar amount. Last year we got 7,000. The years before that we've been getting 10,000, but since the BLM's cut back on their budgets as well, they cut back on their contract with us as well. So we'll receive 7,000 this year again. And I've heard that if they have extra money, then they will pass that along. But the contract states 7, so we're guaranteed that at least.
Can you give a little explanation on what the value of working with the BLM to do this is for the county?
The costs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of go, and I'm not sure how this was really set up at to begin with, but I think we're supposed to be kind of in partnerships with them. We spray their properties, and it's usually mainly around the roads to keep the noxious varieties out from getting spread any further into the county. So it kind of benefits us and it benefits them a little bit. We usually go over, so I think last year we got 7,000, but I think we actually spent maybe like 8 or 9. But I think it's, I don't know. I mean, that's all they'll reimburse us for, but.
Right. I guess the value would be is most of the property, private property is downstream from a lot of the BLM property, and so if we can help control the weeds on BLM, it helps. It helps the private property owners.
Right. If you can get it up, where it's high and before it gets into the water systems, then it prevents it from coming down and getting into private properties. So it's a benefit to the county for us to do it. Even though we may spend a little more than but I think it's a benefit for the county either way. I mean, it's helping us control the noxious weeds, the invasive species, that if we didn't do nothing, it would get so out of hand that, nothing would grow. And some of these plants like knapweed, they put a poison in the ground so nothing else grows but them, so one of those kind of noxious weeds that we really need to be on top of and get them. And, if we can, and that's the benefit with, if we're out and about like that too. Last year I know we went to one of our CWMA sprays and we found some Dalmatian toadflax. And we hopped right on top of that, and we went back last year and there was like 4 or 5 plants where we had about an acre probably of that plant there. Last year, that was 2 years ago. Last year we went back there and we only found 2 or 3 plants. So if you could get on top of it like that, then it prevents a serious problem elsewhere in the county. So, any other questions on?
I don't have any questions, but I think publicly it's something that I want to look at with you and make sure that as they reduce their costs, we may want to reduce the amount of work we do for them.
Right.
And
we tried
not just
that.
keep doing everything.
Yeah.
So I'll work with you and kind of monitor that. So next year they might only give us 6,000.
Yeah.
If we keep going and doing the same thing, there's no reason for them to even give it to us. So
Right.
they need to participate. to a level that doesn't hurt us, so.
Yeah, and I think that's one of their things, because in the Price region, there's only one weed specialist. So she's kind of swamped as well as you know, we are. But we've done that too. I mean, in the past, when we were getting $10,000, we didn't spray. Well, we didn't have time last year actually, so we didn't spray as much as we normally do from previous years. But then again, we were getting more money too. So we kind of watched that a little bit. It's kind of hard to know when to chop it off, but
Yeah, this agreement, back in the back part of it, there's two things. One of them was, it has to do with the wages, and I think we're covered under the federal guidelines of what we pay each of you. We're covered there, but the agreement in essence says the county will assist the BLM in carrying out purposes of noxious weed act, the Weed Act, and the counties are responsible for assisting in mapping current infestations and advising BLM representatives of any new infestations on public lands. We do agree to identify and prioritize noxious plant project areas, and I've attended a meeting with you where those are monthly meetings, and so the county and the BLM, as well as Emery County, are working together to try to figure out where some of these things happen. I know there was a question about doing projects on private land as a cooperative effort, and there's been some guidance offered there. If landowners are willing to participate with money and contribution of time, we'll help, but otherwise we're not going on private property. So there's some pretty heavy responsibilities that we're agreeing to do, and as long as we're covering our part of it, I think it's a value to the community, like you've said. So I think it's a good thing for us to help with.
yeah, and we have a pretty good relationship with the BLM too, because Stephanie from the BLM will tell us where there's a problem with some weeds, and vice versa. We'll tell her if we run onto anything that's major. We'll also let her know. So she's aware of it, and she can tackle it along with us too. So I think we have a pretty good working relationship there.
Does the Forest Service participate as well?
In the CWMA sprays, they do, but that's.
But not on these contracts. They
Not on those. Not on that contract. No, that's strictly BLM. I mean, and some of it, as we're driving through some of these roads, it'll weave in and out of BLM, Forest Service, and we just hit it all because we're on that road. But it's coming into our drainage, so we figure it all washes out. So.
Okay. Any more questions?
I don't have any.
I'll make the motion then that we enter into this agreement with the Bureau of Land Management for to help with these noxious weeds and control them.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Item number 8, consideration of possible approval of new subdivision application fee schedule. Commissioners, it's been discussed and sent out through emails that we need to table this one. You okay with that?
Yep, a little more work needs to be done. I'll make the motion that we table this tonight.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion tabled. Item number 9, consideration of possible approval of general engineering service agreement for hydraulic analysis review with Jones and DeMille Engineering. Commissioners, I'm not sure who brought this one forward.
I can tell you about this one. Whenever there is a building permit issued in a floodplain zone, FEMA requires some engineering to be done to determine if whatever is being built there would affect the flood, if there was one. And so this is a request for Todd, our county planner, to have Jones and DeMille perform a required secondary engineering review. The property owner has to provide information that goes to FEMA, and so this would be a double check by an independent firm to make sure that the numbers provided us by the engineering firm that the private landowner hires is accurate. And so these are for more or less for small residents, and Jones and DeMille will just do an independent review of the numbers, make sure that they're accurate.
I had a question on the fee schedule. On the first page, it talks, item number 4 talks about $6,000. Owner shall pay the engineer for the above assignment as follows: standard hourly rates with an estimated fee of $6,000. And then if you turn to the last page where it says fees, the foregoing scope of work outlined for the base review fee can be completed for a lump sum of $1,500. I just have questions on which charge, or is it $1,500 and then additional for
No.
any work above that?
I think it's that there were a number of reviews they were gonna do for us. And I thought each review was 1,500 and they had like 4 reviews they were gonna do.
And that would make sense.
But
just wanted to
I
make
never
sure it was
saw
clear.
the Exhibit A either. Do you have
I have attachment A, and that's the one that says $1,500 a
1,500.
piece, or $1,500, but it
Oh, it
doesn't
is
talk
attachment.
about.
Yeah.
When I read through it, I didn't see that it was talking about 4 different projects.
No, it doesn't say that, does it?
I think
So
the intent was that each time they do a review,
Okay.
it would be $1,500.
That's my understanding, and I think there are about 4 projects in the works. And I was okay with it just because it said an estimated 6,000, and what we're bound to is just the 1,500 per project. So I think we're okay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, that's good.
And I do know that they've also had Johansson and Tuttle from Emery County do similar work on a project that Curtis has talked about. So
Okay.
I think it's a good thing that Todd will need for his review for FEMA.
Well, Commissioners, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the service agreement with the hydraulic analysis reviews with Jones and DeMille Engineering.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That brings us to the end of our meeting. I'll entertain one more motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
We are adjourned. Please buckle up and drive safe. Have a great Easter weekend.